Uh, Good evening. I'm sorry, I was trying to adjust this lamp behind me because I didn't want it blinding anybody. It is Monday, January the 26th, and we are going to read Genesis chapter 22. I'm still having a little trouble not remembering where I'm supposed to be reading because I've got a bookmark here, but the Bible recap I'm going through is just a few chapters ahead of this, so I'm thinking, okay, now I read that before, but it's because I've read it with that, so y'all just bear with me. I usually check. And I'm very excited. I finished my Acts course just a little while ago, and I'm finished with that. So this is on my online courses that I'm taking, so I still have to take 1 Corinthians and 1st and 2nd Peter, and I'll be done with that part of it. I still have 2 books I have to finish reading and write reports on them, and then of course starting Thursday night, not this Thursday night, but next Thursday night, I'm starting the teachings on Acts, and so I'm working on getting that together. And I've still got to finish my outline. I'm reading through the New Testament and outlining it as I go. And I know that sounds like a lot, but if I just work at it about an hour a day, it's not bad at all, and I'm learning a lot. It's just sometimes I let things slip, and then I have to play catch up. But I'm very excited to be through with Acts, because it was not that the material was hard, because it's the book of Acts, but the teacher taught in a way that he did a lot of repeating of himself, and so when I would be watching a video, I would think, okay, I've already heard that. I'm in the wrong spot. So that was confusing to me, but I made it through, and I got a lot of good notes. So I'm excited about starting the teaching, and I hope some of y'all will plan on joining me. But anyway, tonight we're going to read Genesis chapter 32, and the first section is titled Jacob Fears Esau. Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." So he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom, instructing them, "Thus you shall say to my lord Esau, thus says your servant Jacob." Now, notice that he's referring to his brother as Lord or Master, and Jacob as the servant. He wants to let Esau know that he knows he's messed up, and he wants to be he's indebted to him. "Thus says your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, male servants and female servants. I have sent to tell my Lord, in order that I may find favor in your sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to your brother Esau, and he is coming to meet you, and there are 400 men with him." Now that would scare me. If I was going to meet my brother and trying to make matters right with him, and I send word that I've sent, and here he comes with 400 people, I would think, well, he's coming to get revenge. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people who were with him, and the flocks and herds and camels, into 2 camps, thinking, if Esau comes to the one camp and attacks it, then the camp that is left will escape. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, return to your country and to your kindred, that I may do you good. I am not worthy of the least of all the deeds of steadfast love and all the faithfulness that you have shown to your servant. For with only my staff I crossed the Jordan, and now I have become 2 camps. Please deliver me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him that he may come and attack me, the mothers with the children. But you said, I will surely do you good, and make your offspring as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. Now I've got a little note, and this is where I just read it the other day, and I said I think this was where he had hit his rock bottom. This was his rock bottom moment, and he knew just how little he could do on his own power, and he knew he had to depend on God, and so that's what he's saying. So he stayed there that night, and from what he had with him, he took a present for his brother Esau: 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milking camels and their calves, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 male donkeys and 10 male donkeys. These he handed over to his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, "Pass on ahead of me and put a space between drove and drove." He instructed the first, "When Esau my brother meets you and asks you, 'To whom do you belong? Where are you going? And whose are these ahead of you?' then you shall say, 'They belong to your servant Jacob. They are a present sent to my lord Esau, and moreover he is behind us.'" He likewise instructed the second and the third and all who followed the droves, "You shall say the same thing to Esau when you find him. And you shall say, 'Moreover, your servant Jacob is behind us.'" For he thought, "I may appease him with the present that goes ahead of me, and afterward I shall see his face. Perhaps he will accept me." So the present passed on ahead of him, and he himself stayed that night in the camp. And then the next section is titled, "Jacob Wrestles with God." The same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and everything else that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. Now, the Bible that I'm reading now does not have the word man capitalized, but in several versions it does have the word man capitalized, which means that that was either God or Jesus or something from God. It wasn't just a man, it was another being. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, "Let me go, for the day has broken." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And he said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." Then he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked him, "Please tell me your name." But he said, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And there he blessed him. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, saying, "For I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered." Now we know in other places in the Bible it says that if we as human beings look on the full face of God, we would be destroyed, because his holiness is so powerful, and the sin in us keeps us from being able to withstand that. So he saw God face to face, but he did not see his whole complete face in all of its power. He didn't see it in all of its power, or it would have destroyed him. It was like God put the first thing that comes to my mind is a dimmer switch. When you're riding down the road and you've got your high beams on and you meet another car, you have to turn the dimmer switch on so that you don't blind the other driver. Well, to me, this was kind of like this. God had to dim himself, his power, so Jacob could bear to be in his presence. Oh, excuse me. "For I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered." The sun rose upon him as he passed Peniel, limping because of his hip. Now, this other place up here is named Peniel, Peniel, and then this place that he's talking about, Penuel, is Penuel, limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the people of Israel do not eat the sinew of the thigh that is on the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip on the sinew of the thigh. So now that's the end of chapter 32. And I do want to let you know I belong to a group on Facebook that's called Bible Girls Who Journal. And it's about it. I mean, we talk about journaling, and I don't know if you're very familiar with that, but some people take extra paper and will insert it in their Bible. They'll put it in either with glue or tape or some kind of way, so that they have extra note areas, or so they can put extra information. And they're called tip-ins, a lot of them. That's what they call the things that they add. And so that's one of the things that a lot of people talk about. They found this one that's interesting, or this is one they made. And we talk about all kinds of, I mean, the Bibles that we use and the materials that we use, what kind of pens, what kind of highlighters. Some people talk about their color coding of their highlighters. And it's just a good little support system. And one of them was sharing. I have had I've had 3 Bibles sitting here, actually 4, because I've got a King James, a real old King James. It's I don't know how old it is, and I don't know who it belonged to, but I've got it sitting on my desk. But I have 2 Bibles that I typically use to study. And the one of them is this one that I'm reading from, and it's the English Standard Version. And I have shown y'all that it has blank pages. Here you can see, well, I don't know if you can or not. Let's see. You can see one page has scripture and the other page is blank next to it. And so it's like that every page in the book. So you've got, I use it for note taking. When I come across something that I feel like that the Lord shows me, I write it down, or I make a note and tape it. It's just according to how much information it is. And so I use this one. This is my main study Bible. But then I also have one that is a Holman Christian, I knew I was going to mess it up, Holman Christian Standard Bible. And it is a study Bible. This English Standard Version is not a study Bible. It has some little like footnotes and things, but this other one has got maps and pictures and all kinds of little study notes and all kind of things. But it's the Holman Christian Standard Version, and so I go between these two because they're slightly different. I mean, they're going to say the same thing, but sometimes it'll use a slightly different wording, and sometimes it helps me see things. Well, I've been seeing this other Bible. I used to have a New King James. That was one of the first Bibles that I had after I got grown. Of course, when I was growing up, that was King James was all there was. That was all there was. And so then as a teenager, I had one I think was called the Living Bible. It was a green cover. If you're my age or somewhere thereabouts, you probably remember that. And all of us teenagers had it. And it was a paraphrase. It was not a translation. But it helped us learn what the Bible was saying. And then as I got older, I got a New King James. And that was very good as well. It was so much easier to read than the King James. Because, you know, if you've ever read the King James, you know it's full of these and thous and words that we don't use anymore. And so you kind of you either had to look it up or ask somebody, and it was just a little bit of a struggle. And so getting that New King James made it so much easier just to read and study without having to stop every minute or two to find what something meant or what a word meant. And so the different translations we have now are just a treasure. And I would suggest if you can have several different translations, some are word for word and some are thought for thought, and so you use them all to compare and contrast to see what the meaning is. because they can both be true, but just like you can say, well, you can't have too many friends, or you can mean it that you don't need too many friends, or you can mean it that there's no limit to how many friends you can have. So you have to, I like looking at it in different translations. Well, I got one that I've wanted for a while, and it is called, let's see if you can see, the New King James Spirit-Filled Life Bible, and it's by Jack Hayford. And it is a study Bible as well. There's lots of material. I mean, it's kind of funny. I just happened to turn to a page, and it's the outline of Esther. And I thought, well, which I wouldn't do that because, I'm having to outline the New Testament. But I need to stay away from that so that I don't mess up, because I need it to be my thoughts. But there's an outline of Esther, and there's little study articles, kingdom dynamics, and then praying the word, and things like that. I haven't really looked through it a whole lot. There's another kingdom dynamics. Lots of, if you'll look at the pages between, it's the center column that has references to what you're reading. And I think I'm really going to like it. I've got some tabs coming that I'm going to put in here. I like being able to find the books. I know the books in the Bible. I mean, I can recognize them in a list, but I don't know them in order. I know some of them: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, Corinthians. And after that, I have to remember what my sister-in-law taught me: go eat popcorn. Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians. Let's see, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, Corinthians, and then go eat popcorn. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, and Colossians maybe. So see, and I've been reading the Bible a long time, but I recognize the names, but I can't always put them in order. And so, and there's nothing wrong with having tabs in your Bible, or thumb index, or table of contents. That's what it's there for, is to use. It's to help you get to where you need to be, instead of spending 30 minutes trying to find a book. Well, you just flip over there. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Don't let anybody tell you that it is. But the other thing that I found in that little group, besides a lot of these little pieces of information, was something I found new today. There's an app you can put on your phone, because I struggle with the names in the Bible. There's an app you can put on your phone, and I forgot what the name of it is, but it tells you how to pronounce the names and places in the Bible. And I looked, and there's also a website, and you just type in what what word you're looking for, and it says it. And I mean, and if you're reading it to yourself, it doesn't matter if you know how to pronounce it, but sometimes little things like that may help you stay more interested, especially in something like where they're listing all the genealogies of stuff, numbers, and things like that. I'm not saying it's boring, but it can be hard to stay focused when you've got a lot of names that they're not Tom and Joe and Harry and Sarah and Rebecca, and I mean, names that a lot of them are names we don't recognize. So it's a good thing. To me, that just looks like a good tool. But I did put a link to that. I've got a post pinned to the top of my page, and it's Bible study tools. And as I come across new things, I edit the post and put that. Well, I just added that today. So check that out when you have a minute. To me, anything that will help us have more reason to stay in the Bible and to be more involved in the Bible. The more real it is, the more you can get into it, and not just accept it, but learn from it and let it be a part of your life. And I do want to say this. I don't know if y'all have seen the little article. Some person has put billboards up, and it's from what I can see, all it says is Jesus is not God. And there was a person in one of the places where the billboard was that it was a black billboard with white writing, and he went in there with black paint and painted over the word not so that it says Jesus is God. And I would encourage y'all, please don't argue with people. Arguing is not how the Lord wants us to do that. It is okay to discuss things, but don't get into an argument so that people who are watching you or who are listening get discouraged and say, well, see, they don't even know what's what. Why should I listen to one of them? Because how do I know I'm not listening to somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about? So just be real careful how you discuss and debate people and argue. Especially if you're doing it on social media, because the big thing you're doing on that is you're getting somebody paid. The more comments that are on some of these posts, the more people, the more money they make. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, thank y'all for joining me tonight, and hope to see y'all tomorrow night. I believe the weather's supposed to be, no, that was Saturday. Saturday, I think the high is 30 something. And I'm thinking tomorrow it may be a little bit warmer than it was today, but it's supposed to dip back down into freezing overnight tomorrow night. So don't forget to leave your pipes dripping if you need to. Some people don't have to. I always do, because I live in a mobile home and it's up off the ground. Now I do have skirting all around, but still, just to be on the safe side, I'll leave the pipes dripping, because I don't want to have to pay somebody to come change a bunch of pipes out. I'd rather pay a little bit of an extra water bill. But anyway, thank y'all for joining me, and y'all stay warm and safe, and we will see you tomorrow night.